This is where I get really excited because I really particularly enjoy the intricacies that go along with the MBTI and really understanding the effects of each preference. Oh, this is so wonderful because type is really more about looking at the combinations of the preferences than just each one of the preferences. Let's look at some ideas. So I want you to think this through. This is so cool. I really do get excited about this because many people have no idea of how intricate the MBTI is. So intuition combined with feeling really is going to focus more on insights about people and their issues. Intuition and feeling is going to look more on the insights about organizations. So see the differences? Isn't this kind of cool? Because I think this is so fun. So sensing combined with feeling focuses on practical service to people. And then sensing combined with thinking is going to focus more on practical tasks. Now, there's another video that talks about the table type, and the table is actually organized by different groups. So we're going to be able to look at those. Now, let's look at some of these combinations a little bit further. So for our combination of energy, which is our external orientations, is dealing with the change. So this is going to be the extrovert and introvert with the judging or perceiving. It's going to influence not just how you change, but also how you deal with the change and respond to it. So our IJs are decisive introverts. When changes are proposed, they check them out against their internal perceptions, and this is going to include both data and big pictures. And if it fits with what they already see, they'll move quickly to implement them. And if the changes don't fit, they're just going to dig in their heels and they're going to become opponents and really frustrating. Introverted perceivers are our adaptable introverts. When changes are proposed, they're curious and they're going to seek for information. Then they're going to assess the information with their internal judgment, the values, and the principles, right? And then the information seeking appears adaptable, but they only move ahead on their own time after they've made a decision. Extroverted perceivers are adaptable extroverts. They are, when changes are proposed, are going to consult their networks and they're going to talk to people. They're going to talk to as many people as they can to get feedback and find out what everybody else thinks. Then, if the changes allow room for their creativity and action, they're going to gather resources and try to energize everyone to implement those changes. They are a great instigator when it comes to moving forward with change. EJ, extroverted judges, are decisive extroverts, and when changes are proposed, they're going to apply their judgment, which is their logic and values, verbally by questioning. Then, if their questions are answered, they're going to move quickly to plan, organize, and even implement that change. Let's look at the combination of how we perceive and judge. Now, this is going to be our perception is sensing and intuition, and judging, which is thinking or feeling. And this is what leads to really our career choices. So this is a fascinating table, and I hope you'll take some time to really look this over. If you are a ST, a sensing thinker, you're going to really focus more on facts. You are going to handle things or handle careers with objective experience. You like to be practical and analytical. And you're going to find scope in your interests by having technical skills with objects and facts. So some great careers for an ST might be applied science, business, administration, banking, law enforcement, production, and construction. I'm going to add a caveat here though. Don't think that just because you're an ST, you must be in one of these areas, because we're just stating that this is where the statistics show that the majority of the people who are ST tend to have their career. An SF likes to focus on facts, but they handle the facts by applying personal warmth and concern for others. They tend to be very sympathetic and friendly. Remember, that goes along with that harmony piece that goes with the feeling. They are practical, they like to help, and they like to provide services for other people. So their greatest career choices tend to be healthcare, community service, teaching, supervision, religion, support services, or sales. Your intuition feeling looks at the possibilities, right? The future oriented that goes along with that intuition side. They like to look at people's potential. They're insightful and they are enthusiastic. They like to understand and encourage people. So some of their greatest spaces for careers are psychology, human resources, teaching, research, literature, religion, art and music. Healthcare even is a great space for this particular type. NT is intuition and thinking. They're future oriented and they think on the possibilities. They are going to handle those possibilities by applying their theoretical concepts and even their systems. They are logical and analytical. They love theory. They love technical. So their greatest career choices tend to be physical science, research, management, computers, law, engineering, and even some technical work. Now, let's look at the combination of energy and perception. And this is how people are going to use their information, how they are going to use information that they get. So your IS is an introverted sensor. These are thoughtful realists. Now, knowledge is important to them to establish what is true. An introverted intuition is a thoughtful innovator, and knowledge is important just because it is. All knowledge is important to an IN. An extroverted sensor is an action-oriented realist. Knowledge is important for practical use. In contrast, the EN, or the extroverted intuition, is an action-oriented innovator. And knowledge is important for this particular type just because they want to be able to use it to change their reality. So we're moving on to look at the combinations of judgment and your external orientations. And this is going to influence your leadership styles, management styles, and how you tend to follow other people. TJ, remember T is thinking, J judging, P perceiving, and F is feeling. Your TJ is a logical decision maker. They're analytical, decisive leaders. They make decisions based on principles and systems and overall impacts. Their rational assessment of outcomes. They can be tough-minded sometimes when they implement these things. And we've talked before about how a TJ can be tough-minded because they are very scheduled kind of personality. They are an effective implementer, especially of policies, but only if they really respect the leader. Your TP is an adaptable problem solver. They like to lead by example. They value and display their expertise, but they are going to create consistent and orderly frameworks for their works and for others. They're objective, skeptical, and critical, and even curious. They love to change things, and they're going to change as new information comes. They tend to be effective problem solvers. The FP is a supportive coach. Warm, flexible, encouraging. They support individual work styles, and they like to involve other people in their decisions. You're going to see them talking and pulling in information and to get the feedback from other people. They love relationships with their peers, and they love to have networking. They share rewards, and they love a consensus in any kind of decision. They are also energetic followers. RFJ is a values-based decision makers. They're warm, decisive leaders, and they also tend to make decisions based on personal values and empathy with others. They strive for harmony, consensus, and a supportive environment. They're expressive, and they are loyal followers. Our last combination is called the temperaments. Now, the temperament theory is really widely used, especially in connection with the MBTI. And this is where it's based on the different assumptions and models of personality, and they complement each other. So the MBTI tool gives access to the temperament, and the temperament describes the 4 broad patterns of related characteristics. So we're going to look at the 4 variations of each of these temperament pattern, which is represented by the 16 types. So your NF is considered an idealist. They search for unique identity and meaning. They value empathy and meaningful in relationships. They're generally enthusiastic and they want to make the world a better place. They trust their intuition and imagination. They think in terms of integration and similarities. They focus on developing potential in others, finding a purpose in life, and bridging differences. They really have a need to be authentic. The NT are rationals. They're theory-oriented. They seek to understand the principles on which the world and things in it work. They trust logic and reason, skeptical and precise. They think in terms of differences, categories, definitions, and structure. They focus on strategies and designs that achieve long-range goals and lead to progress. They want competence and thorough knowledge. The SP are artisans. They are action and impact oriented. They hunger for spontaneity. They're optimistic. They trust luck and the ability to handle whatever comes up. They're absorbed in the moment. They read people and trust situations and adapt to changes to get the job done. They seek adventure and experiences and think in terms of variations, focus on tactics to help others and to get desired results. They want freedom to choose their next action. SJs are called the guardians. They hunger for responsibility and predictability. They like standard operating procedures. They want to protect and to preserve. They're serious, concerned. They trust the past, tradition, and authority. They think in terms of comparisons, consequences, associations. They focus on logistics to support people, maintain organizations, and achieve objectives. They want security and the ability to belong.